Hello, 5th and 6th grade. This is your history video for Thursday, February 11th. Looks like we will have school tomorrow. So we are, I know, disappointed about that, but there's going to be some big snow over the weekend, so we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But we are going to be going through the pages that we have today, which is pages 215 to 219 we'll be reading, but you have 154. And when I say 154 at the top, it's not just that top section. There's the top section plus a few more in the next part as well. And that's because part of that is for the reading for tomorrow. So 215, and so let's go ahead and start the reading. And we will move on through this quickly. All right, so 215, it says, Decline of the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire continued to decline. It had struggled with political turmoil, high taxes, and problems along its borders for years. The city of Rome grew weaker. Constantine's attempts to strengthen the empire by building a new capital away from Rome further weakened the western part of the empire. In 395, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I permanently divided the empire into two separate parts, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. Several years after this division, the city of Rome was plundered by barbarians. The Western Roman Empire was easy prey for barbarian invasions. However, the Eastern Roman Empire was stronger and more secure. Early years of the Byzantine Empire. Eventually, the Eastern Roman Empire became known as the Byzantine Empire. Constantinople. The standard of living in Constantinople was extremely high. The structure and the economics of the city could support a population of 1 million people. In addition to the fortified walls, craftsmen constructed sewage and water systems throughout the city. Literacy and education rates among men and women far exceeded any other city at that time. Constantinople was a stronghold that attracted both invaders and merchants. Justinian I, also known as Justinian the Great, reigned over the Byzantine Empire from 527 to 565. Justinian had been taught from his youth that just as there was only one God in heaven, there was only one empire here on earth. Justinian claimed that he, as the sole Christian emperor, had absolute authority. He made it his duty to fulfill this heavenly order. Former Roman territory in the west was being controlled by barbarians. Justinian wanted to restore the greatness of the former Roman Empire. He believed that the time had come to deliver the west. Justinian sent one of his key generals, Belisarius, to conquer the provinces of the former Roman Empire. Belisarius marched his army across North Africa to the city of Carthage. The Vandals ruled there. They were fierce fighters, but Belisarius' army defeated them and destroyed their kingdom. Next, Belisarius and his army built ships so that they could cross the Mediterranean Sea and invade Sicily. Before long, Belisarius led his army through the Italian peninsula and claimed it for Justinian. As a result of Belisarius' victories, he became popular in Constantinople. Justinian did not conquer all of the former Roman Empire, but he did conquer every part he fought for. Justinian controlled lands on 3 continents. Political groups. In Constantinople, almost all the people supported political groups. The 2 most popular groups were the Blues and the Greens. They represented different social and political views, but also competed as teams in sporting events. The people enjoyed participating in and watching sports. At sporting events, especially chariot races, the people cheered athletes from their favorite team to victory. Sporting and social events took place in open-air stadiums called hippodromes. During these games, people often shouted their political views. Hostility between the groups was often hard for the authorities to control. The Nika Revolt. Not everyone in the Byzantine Empire was pleased with Justinian's rule. Justinian taxed the citizens heavily to finance building projects. He ignored the positions people held in society and the privileges many had. Tensions grew as the citizens became increasingly unhappy. Justinian's efforts to prevent an uprising failed. Early in January of 532, an enormous riot broke out at the games in the Hippodrome of Constantinople. 7 leaders of the riot were arrested and sentenced to death. 2 men, one from the blue team and one from the green team, survived their intended executions and fled to a church for safety. The imperial guard surrounded the church. Justinian tried to calm the situation by announcing new games, but the tension grew even worse. The blues and the greens had united against the emperor and cried out for mercy for the 2 men. Their cries went unheeded. Furious, the crowd moved through the streets, looting and burning buildings. As the rioting continued, the nobles did not rally behind Justinian. They saw the uprising as an opportunity to take over the throne. They selected a successor for Justinian. As the situation grew out of control, Justinian was about to take a ship into exile when his wife, Theodora, convinced him to stay. She told Justinian, "May I never see the day when those who meet me do not call me empress. I agree with the adage that the royal purple is the noblest shroud." Justinian decided to stay, and he sent Belisarius to fight the rioters and to end the rebellion. Belisarius and his men killed over 30,000 people who had gathered in the Hippodrome. 19 senators who plotted a takeover were executed. Their palaces were destroyed, and their bodies were thrown into the sea. The events in Constantinople during that week became known as the Nika Revolt because the people shouted, "Nika, conquer," as they rioted. So you have a little biographical sketch of Byzantine emperor, where in ancient Turkey and so on for those things. Now, if you look into life in Constantinople, this is where you're going to find some of the information you'll need. But we'll go ahead and let you read that on your own. And then that is the end of our reading as far as what we're supposed to have today. So I hope you have a good day. See you later. Bye.